All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Boxer Briefs podcast, episode 7. We are here with our guest, a heavyweight from Newport News, Virginia, with a record of 26 wins, 20 by knockout, 4 losses, 1 draw, fresh off his clash with ZHILEI, aka Big Bang ZHANG, on DAZN this past weekend. Jerry Slugger Forrest. How you doing tonight, Jerry?
How you doing? How you doing, guys? How's everything going?
Good.
Good to see you, Jerry. Love that fight.
Yes, sir. Definitely try. It was a good fight.
That was a great fight.
It was a great fight. Ton of heart on both sides, certainly, and you're looking pretty good. You're looking pretty good a few days afterwards.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. Good fight. But I'm fine. Thank God.
Yeah.
No blemishes. Nothing's hurt. Nothing's cut. So
more than what we can say for ZHANG.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, he's still being hospitalized for dehydration, his enzyme levels, and other dehydration factors. But all right, we go.
Hoping he'll come. I'm sure he'll come around.
Oh yeah. Hopefully. I mean, he's like I said, the body takes a while to hydrate back up. So it'll take about 2 weeks fully for him to hydrate back up. But they're gonna keep on giving him fluids, most likely through IV, I would imagine. And then at some stage, at some point, they'll probably just let him, just drink the juices and get the fluids just in him naturally. And hopefully he's out this weekend. I would imagine, a full 7 days in the hospital for dehydration, he should be fine. As long as there's no other factors.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, we wish him the best as well in his recovery. And let's jump right into it. Let's talk about this fight this past weekend. Obviously, there was a lot of heart on both sides of the ring between you guys. What was it like to, get knocked down 3 times early and dig yourself back out and realize that, you had a legitimate chance and completely turn the fight around after that 3rd round?
Inside the ring, it's a little different than outside. To be honest, all 3 to me were just like, dang, I got caught with my hands down. Like, dang, I didn't see that coming. Like, where'd it come from? But at no point, honestly, did I think that I was hurt to where I couldn't continue or that I wasn't able to fight. That's why, looking at the fight afterwards, every time I, got knocked down, I got right back up and was ready to fight. In my mind, it was just that I knew I was better. Like they were just flashes to me. I didn't see him. My hands were down and he just caught me on the chin perfect. So I wasn't hurt at any point. It was just that I was more so shocked and stunned at like what happened. The 3rd one, he caught me around the frontal lobe. So it got make believe him back pretty fast. You said I still got in on that one. So when I seen it, it looked a lot worse than what I imagined inside of the ring, to be honest with you. Yeah. But inside the ring, and he has power, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, I didn't feel him. But, I just they didn't affect me in the sense of the intensity and just the pure like gore of how he hit me. Seeing it was a lot worse than actually being hit, I feel. But I didn't, not at any point that I think that I was defeated or even the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I just the way I've trained. Sure. I knew what I had, so I didn't really think of being down or being tired, to be honest with you. So that's what I exerted the whole fight.
No, absolutely. It was. Sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Oh, I just was going to say, you offer a good point that there's a big distinction between being down and being hurt. And you're right. Thinking back to the fight, I never thought that you were hurt, when you got knocked down. But you get knocked down, and that you lose a point if you get knocked down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that just gave me the urgency. And the first couple rounds, I was kind of reckless, the jitters, the excitement. So I came in a little reckless, to my avail. But as the rounds grew on, see, I knew that I was going to be in better shape.
Yeah.
I trained for this, I knew that I was going to gas him out if I kept pressure, if I kept applying pressure, pressure bust pipes, I just came in with the wrong plan initially, trying to go to the body lazy pretty much. So, I can't be lazy.
Yeah, he
That's how he
definitely,
caught me, being lazy, coming in with a real quick punch, and so I respect his speed and his power a lot more now for sure.
of course. That was one thing we noticed during the fight as well, is that when you were going to the body, he definitely did not like taking the body shots. He can certainly take a shot, but we noticed that he did not like when you would go to the body. So that was
Yeah, I
something
couldn't
that
really
stood out
dig
to
to the
us.
body. I couldn't dig to the body like I wanted a lot, but when I did dig to the body, it was effective. But that's something that I'm just gonna have to keep on working on, training on. You know what I mean? I did a pretty good job on it, but I think that it could have been better. Yeah, I could have done it earlier and smarter, rather than coming in reckless with my hands down. So it's just small stuff that we're gonna actually work on also to make it more effective in the future for him or whoever we fight. Something that has to be corrected.
Sure.
What is it like fighting another southpaw? Have you fought a lot in your career? Is it a different
Uh,
kind of fight when you have to fight another?
Fighting him he's tall. He's very crafty. So it was different for him. I just had to remember to basically keep going to the right real hard, to my left real hard, his
Okay.
right, and just
Yes.
stay out of the way of the left hand. And once I did that, the regular boxing skills and the athleticism I felt, played a part for the rest of it.
So I got a theory on Zhang. How big is he in the ring? Is he 6'6" or
Yeah.
yeah?
So I thought the same thing at first, right? I'm like, it's probably not even 6'6". No, he's legit. Like the actual face-off picture, I have my shoes on and he doesn't have his. So I look 2 inches, 3 inches taller, but that's because he doesn't have any shoes on and I have shoes on.
So my theory with Zhang is he has the nickname Big Bang. I thought, I initially thought it was because of his big punching power, but now I'm thinking he could be like an ancestor to the dinosaurs. You got the Big Bang,
Nah,
like he kind of survived all these years type deal, maybe
yeah,
some kind
I
of
mean,
connection.
he has pop. I'm not gonna say that he doesn't have pop. He does. The thing is, I just feel that I trained for it. I wasn't gonna be denied. Uh, I've never been down, but besides with Jared Washington in my career before then. So, I mean, for me to go down, I just feel he had to have a little something. But it's not that he caught me with a hard punch. He caught me with the right punch,
Sure.
right on the chin, hands down. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think I would have even went down. If you look at all of them, I'm not saying I was off balance, but my head was, over top my footing. So I mean, all of those factors also played a part. Coming in, hands down, just off balance, and catching on the chin. So I mean, it's factors also that that kind of led to the falls also.
Yeah, one thing that was unique to me after the knockdown was each time you got up and you went to the corner, and
Yeah.
I can't say I've seen that very often before, and I thought it was actually pretty brilliant because you're able to kind of go and, like you said,
Ready.
at no point where you hurt, but you were able to
Yeah.
go in the corner and finish off your count there. Where at one point you said your equilibrium was a little bit off. I'm sure that helps to be in a kind of contained spot like that.
Yes, sir. Well, that honestly, that's just from the amateur days.
Okay.
So this is funny. I'm used to running to the corner when I knock someone down.
Yeah.
So initially, I ran to the corner because I'm so used to being the one. I mean, like my 20 KOs, amateur, I had a lot of KOs. So it's like,
Yeah.
gotten used to going to the corner.
The neutral corner. Yeah, that's when you knock somebody down, they got to go to the neutral corner. Got it.
Exactly.
And
So it's just funny in that sense. But yeah, it's not a lot of people that caught that. So that's funny.
Yeah, that was something I noticed when I watched the fight the second time. Was I noticed that, and I said, "Wow!" I said, "I don't really see that often," and it made sense to me when you did it. In case your equilibrium was off or whatnot, that you were able to finish the count.
Yeah, you get there, you get everything back together, and you come
Exactly.
out and you're ready to fight. So that's the mentality for me.
In the Jermaine Franklin fight, I noticed you also utilized the ropes, similar to almost like a rope-a-dope thing where you're bouncing off. And, you know, do you feel like you used the ring in that way, or did you feel like you were doing that?
With
Or
ZHANG, with someone big like that, you have to exert everything. I'm ready to adjust and do whatever I have to do to win. I can fight on the ropes, off the ropes, in the ring, out the ring, in the clutch. You know, you've seen the jab,
Yep.
body work. So I feel like I'm an all-around fighter. I don't think that I specialize in anything. I feel that I'm really good at all the levels of boxing, whether it's banging, brawling, you know, like I said, the IQ level to adjust after being caught with the shots, you know, to stay to the left hard. I just feel that I'm just an adjuster, and I can use whatever situation comes. I'm by me being a nuclear electrician, I'm reactive to a lot of stuff. So when things happen, you know, I don't really stress it. I just find a way to evolve and move move on from there. So I never feel like, that's why, you know, get knocked down, I never feel like I'm in trouble. It's just, you know, gather yourself and just keep going. You know, it's all a part of the thought process. You know, the mind can take you where the body won't go. So
I like it.
Yeah, I like that analogy a lot. So after all this talk, are we hoping there's going to be a rematch?
yeah, we're in talks about it right now.
That's awesome.
So
I think
we'll see.
I think the fans would love that. I'm sure you would love it. But yeah, that was an exciting fight to watch. So I can tell you we would.
I mean, my hands are still like healing up from it. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's still like, gosh, man, I'm telling you, it was definitely a great fight.
It's fresh. Those are fresh. Now, who's got the
Yeah.
bigger mitts? You got like,
Yes,
look
sir.
like you got some big mitts there. Who's got the bigger
Yeah,
mitts?
my hands are, I mean, they're nice size, man. They're nice size. I will say, definitely.
And compared to Zhang, how big are those?
He's just bigger, like all around, just bigger. It's crazy. My wife was asking me earlier. She was like, "Man, you sure you just want to keep fighting all these big guys?" Like, yeah, and this is what I love to do. She's like, you know, you can always go down smaller weight classes. I'm like, it's not me. It's not my thing.
Right. And how did you get into boxing? You're a nuclear electrician by trade.
Yes,
How
sir.
did you get into boxing professionally as well?
Always wanted to do it. Just always been a fan of fighting, karate, any kind of martial arts, man. You know, I'm just you know, I'm one of those kids that, you know, I was born in '88, grew up in the '90s, you know, just with all the karate movies and fighting movies and
Yeah.
lots of movies, the blood sports, you know, I mean, just all of these kind of movies, man, Karate Kids, you know, just seeing all those arts, and, you know, it kind of makes you, you know, those movies made you want to fight and made you want to do things. So that's where I first did it, you know, watching all the Rocky movies and things of that nature, man. It's just legendary. So, you know, it's always been something I wanted to do. Picked up the gloves at 18 and never put them down.
That's awesome. Yeah, Wildman and myself during the pandemic, we've got into a few of those '80s fight movies. It's just it's a good time to review back over them.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, man, just made me want to do it. And I mean, you know, I got into a lot of fist fights, of course, you know, also, but you know, all those things in general made me want to box. You know, I actually my wife bought me a pair of gloves when we were in high school.
Oh, wow.
And I've got 2 pairs of gloves, and we kind of just went around the neighborhoods boxing and stuff, you know, with people. But all those things kind of just led up to me just finding the gym and staying in it, and here I am.
Sure.
Now, I was just going to say, what's it been like training during the pandemic? Obviously, things are starting to open up a bit more now, and but you know, a year ago this time, when things were starting to close down, what was it like for the majority of 2020? Did you have trouble finding an open gym, sparring partners, anything like that?
I've been blessed to have gyms that I could go to, train privately.
Yeah.
Me and my team. Sparring, a little scarce.
Yeah.
But you know, you do what you have to do.
Of course.
And you mentioned having a big family, wife, kids, parents, and you like to have them at the fight. Obviously, they're your biggest supporters. What has it been like fighting through the pandemic? And, you know, and have they been able to attend the fights?
Yeah, the pandemic was crazy. Actually, so it's crazy. So my wife and my daughter and my mother flew to this fight. So if you see me coming down during the ring walk, so during the ring walk, I'm coming down, and I'm not sure if you go back and look at the tape of me coming down, I kind of like start smiling and laughing and giggling, and I kind of hit my chest. So my dad's out to sea. He's an E9 in the military. He's actually away for 3 years. His ship flew him out to the fight like the day before the fight. So he was actually right there as I came out and came down the stage. So that kind of motivated me and propelled me even more,
That's
That was
awesome.
pretty cool.
I did notice that when you were walking out, but
Yeah,
now that
no
you,
one knew why I was giggling
right,
and laughing,
right,
but yeah, I actually seen him. They actually set it up to where the cameraman was like, look to the left. I mean,
yeah.
to the right, and I looked and I was like, wow, like they definitely got me. Definitely.
Did you know he was going to be there?
I didn't. I didn't notice it until that moment, that right then and there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. I mean, we would have no idea about that. That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's awesome that he was able to be
Yeah,
there.
that was great.
Did you feel like that inspired you in the fight further?
Oh, definitely. Seeing my family, my daughter there, my everything, definitely inspired. Sorry. Definitely inspired. I feed off the crowd, feed off the energy, feed off my people, my family. So I take it all in. I take everything in.
Yeah, we could see you were obviously inspired in there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to fight for, man. I gave up everything for this. So, I had to do my part. I told my coaches, my staff, you guys do your part. I'm gonna make sure I do mine, and we're gonna win the fight. So I feel that I still should have won convincingly, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's evident you take your training very seriously and being in shape. I was joking with Cullen earlier, unlike a fellow athlete from Newport News, Virginia, who talked about practice. You take it a little bit more seriously, maybe than number three did.
Definitely. And he was a great man, but you gotta, and that's the thing, you have to take it serious. I don't work, all I do is box, so I have to give myself the best chance I have to win. It's real commitment.
Sure. And when did you give up your career to take on your boxing career?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago,
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The pandemic hit though, and it made it a little harder as far as finding fights and things of that nature. But I've been blessed, So 10 years working as a nuclear electrician worked out, still had good money. So, it worked out.
And you were working at the shipyard, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would be the guy that you didn't like. I work in health and safety. So I was.
Oh man. So yeah. Well, I will say we build the world's finest carriers and ships.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a pretty strict deal, man.
Yeah.
For real. I want to say that we have a 5-star rating. Don't quote me on that. With OSHA.
Yeah.
We have the highest rating with OSHA. I think it was like 3 years in a row now. I mean,
Wow.
we're pretty, to be honest with you. So, by us being a contracting yard for the military, we go by their rules and then we exceed those rules. So, I mean, honestly, man, we're pretty, not saying, the whole, but as far as our shipyard, I can't speak for the Navy yards.
Sure.
But our shipyard, because it's a privately contracted yard, yeah, we're actually probably the hardest yard to get a job with. Like that's why they say once you get into our shipyard, you can go work at any shipyard in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. No, because we're the one of one. We're the one that's, if that shipyard gets shut down, we have no other shipyard in the world to build carriers. Wow. So yeah, we have to be above and beyond with cleanliness. That's actually our number one goal.
Yeah, and it makes sense too, because as different facilities, manufacturing, whatever it is, as the product that you're working on gets more important, also usually gets more dangerous to work around as well. So
exactly.
It makes complete sense where you were working had to be absolute top tier,
yes, sir.
Ducks in a row, because you can't afford to have somebody get hurt in that situation, for sure.
Changing gears, on the playgrounds growing up, do you feel like you held a higher standard? There were some bullies maybe that would pick on some other kids, and you wouldn't put up with that?
Yeah, the high school fights. Yeah, so my best friend, Fran, she was fighting, and there was a lot of girls out there. Her brother, he was getting beat up by some guy. He's in 8th grade, we're in 12th, and some guys jumped him. And I kind of stopped it, but it was it was a different crowd. It was they were gang members. So
Oof.
I wound up, fighting one, beating him up real bad in the school and stuff. And by that, I had to kind of like fight a lot of his friends, and it turned into a very serious case through everything. Yeah, that was definitely one of the key turning points for me with the boxing is my dad was like, you want to fight. He was one of the guys that was like, you're fighting all the time. Even though I wasn't starting the fights or bringing the fights, around, it was still that that kind of involvement. You beat one, you beat another, you beat another, and it was just ridiculous for like 2 or 3 years. I mean, it was. But yeah, that definitely helped me out. That definitely helped me out when I first got into boxing. But yeah, it's kind of you beat up some guys, and they kind of don't stop until they eventually try to beat you up, or things get more serious. So thank God that everything is settled now. We're actually friends now. Those guys are actually my friends now. They support me. Come to the fight. We work out sometime.
Yeah.
So everybody, man. I mean, just one team. What happened in the past. But it was yeah. Those fights were the high school fights were definitely serious. Yeah.
And I sort of feel like when you fight one guy, then you got a reputation of beating them, and now you gotta uphold that reputation, or you're asked to uphold that reputation where you're having to fight 4 or 5 more guys. It's like, hey.
That's what happened. That's
Wow.
what happened. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Yes, sir. Yeah, it was crazy.
And now is this what you're doing with the heavyweight division? Trying to clean up the bullies and the villains? And
I'm doing what I do best. It's crazy, man, because those guys are bigger than me, but it's my arms are real long. I'm at 78. I think he was at 79 or 80. It's like, my reach, I have real long arms.
sure.
So I mean, tall height, it really doesn't affect me. I mean, leaning on me, like, I don't know, those things, they never affected me, man. It's going to get me physically tired, of course.
Yeah.
That's what was draining on me, and that's why I was looking so drained, after a couple rounds. I mean, after about the 7th or 8th round, just from the headlocks in general. But I have the legs and the stamina to go. It doesn't affect me to where I won't be able to go.
Yeah, that's what
I just feel that I'm built. I feel that personally, I'm built for the bigger guys.
Sure.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can definitely withstand it.
We wanted to ask you about that too, where the headlocks obviously became, from watching it on TV live, they became very apparent. And him obviously putting weight on you too. How did that affect? Did you have to make any adjustments? I mean, obviously he lost a point, which ended up being a big deal in the fight. Did you have to make any adjustments when he kept doing that later on?
You just have to change your breathing up
Yeah.
and be smart. To be honest, so it's hard to justify this, but you're going in those late rounds with a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So you see my hands are kind of down, and I'm kind of here more so than here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, and I'm just coming in and throwing the punches. So at that point, you're more so relying that you're going to beat him to the punch. You're going to be the more active puncher every round. And you're just relying on your resilience to carry you through at that point. You're kind of waiting for it because it's going to come. You don't want to see the thing I didn't want to do was struggle and fight with him over it.
Right.
Trying to, get myself out of the headlocks or trying to push him off every time before he can grab me. That's just wasting energy for me. So I kind of just, if he pulled me in and was going to go over me, I just went with it because I wasn't going to try to wrestle a bear. I wasn't going to waste more energy than I already would have to. So, but as far as the legs and stuff, no, I never really, at no point was I thinking like, am I going to be able to keep him up at all, honestly. It's more so I know what I trained for. I know what I had in me. In sparring, they leaned on me a lot. I mean, we trained for this. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
We did rounds of training with guys his size, just leaning on me, holding on me, being rough. I mean, grabbing me behind the head. I trained for every situation you could think of, and I was ready for it. I'm glad that it showed in the ring.
Definitely did.
Now, what do you think would be heavier, Big Bang ZHANG leaning on you, or the suit that Deontay Wilder wears into the ring?
Oh man. Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry, I don't know. It
Zang,
just came to me, man. It just
Zang,
came to me.
Zang. Yeah, Wilder's my guy. Wilder's a good guy, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
we like Wilder.
we're
We
fans
like
of
Wilder.
his.
it's yeah, his situation right now is funny. It's a very he has a unique situation right
He
now.
does. He definitely
Like,
does.
it's a funny situation, this guy. But yeah, hopefully it works out for him.
Of
Yeah.
course.
No, he is a good guy. Actually, I had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times at the Boxing Hall of Fame. We go for the induction weekend, and it's
Oh
really a good
man,
time.
sir.
Yeah, it's put off this year. They're doing 2021, but
Yeah.
couldn't be a nicer guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very good guy. I've been in camp with him a couple times. Good guy, definitely.
So speaking of him, you've fought some pretty big names over the last few years between Hunter, Takam, Zhang, Franklin, Washington. Um, obviously we've talked about the rematch with Big Bang Zhang. Are there any other names out there that have been circled around your way as potential opponents?
Not yet.
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I'm willing to fight anybody. I
Sure.
never ducked anybody. You look at my record, look at, Morad Gaziev, I mean, it's a lot of guys that I try to fight that we didn't want to fight. And so, I mean, anybody, whenever they're ready, I'm here. I don't turn down fights at all, man. I mean, I'm not scared of anybody. So
Yeah.
I usually say yes before I can even think of, any unsmart moves or adjustments for it. So, yeah.
Have there been any potential dates mentioned yet for any next fights? Even
No,
time of
sir.
year.
Probably summertime.
Summer.
Probably summertime. Just to make sure that we're good. Make sure that we get the right fights. So summertime should be back in there.
Awesome. That's not far off.
No, sir.
Yeah,
I
look
mean,
at,
within 6 months. I'll say
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
6 to 8 months.
and you have an interesting nickname. Was it due to? I had read it was due to complications at birth. Is that right? They called
Yes,
you
sir.
Slugger?
Yeah. So the day I was born, uh, I had a bowel movement inside my mother. I poisoned her bloodstream.
Sure.
Um, So they pretty much put me in intensive care and put my mom, and she needed 2 blood transfusions. So they pretty much called my grandmother and said, your daughter and your grandson's not going to make it to the night. We're going to transport him to New Orleans, and your daughter's probably not going to make it. If you guys want to see them before they pass, you might want to get up here now. My
Wow.
grandmother comes up there with my grandfather, and as they're about to transport me, she's like, you can't die. If you die, my daughter's gonna want to die. You got to be a slugger. You got to fight. You got to make it.
Got it.
You got to live for your mom. And I started to cry. My vitals started shooting up to regular, and I mean, they actually started unhooking me on the table, and they didn't have to transport me to New Orleans. They said that I wasn't gonna make it to New Orleans. They said that I'll probably die in the transport. Most likely. So yeah, literally from that moment on. Everything was fine, vitals were fine, and I'm here. I'm here. So she named me Slugger. They put that on my actual birth certificate, right there in big bold letters. It was pretty cool when I was younger, I guess. So yeah.
That's an amazing story, and it speaks to there being a plan for your life, and becoming a slugger
Definitely.
as your career.
Definitely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It
Wow,
worked out for sure.
incredible story.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's best nickname story I've heard so far. I mean, most meaningful for sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a real nickname, family nickname. Like that's what
Yeah.
my friends, everyone called me Slug.
Awesome. You probably thought you were going to be a baseball player.
Oh, my son, that's my son's lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
My oldest son, Jalen. Yeah, that's his lane. That's his thing.
Yeah,
Definitely.
nice.
He definitely is.
Is he playing little league or?
No, he plays travel ball. I mean, he's been to
Oh, wow.
Coopertown Baseball Hall of Fame. I mean, 16 home runs there. Like he's
Wow.
a pretty good player in the state. Pretty solid baseball player. He's going to 9th grade this year, so he's been with some really good programs. Really
So
good programs.
Wow.
we may want to keep an eye on Jalen Forrest as well.
Definitely. Yeah, he's pretty good.
That's
He's
awesome.
pretty good. He's pretty good.
So you mentioned you started boxing around 18. Who were some of the, or if you had any, who were some of your, maybe boxing idols, or were there any guys you try to model yourself after or study their film more than others?
My first coach was named Bilal Abdullah Muhammad.
Hmm.
He worked a little bit with Ali. He worked with Tyson, Lennox Lewis. So just watching those kind of pictures of those guys, you kind of, I kind of wanted to be like the guys that he trained before, knowing that he knew Sweet Pea, so I drew from everybody and everything, man. Ali, I love Ali, what he did for boxing in and out of the ring. I mean, so I draw from everybody. There's no style, no particular person, but I mean, to be honest, I love the greats. I feel like, if you're really into the sport, don't get me wrong, you love a couple underdogs, but you love the greats like Roy Jones, man. Roy Jones, one of my favorite guys. The Ultimate Warrior, I mean Riddick Bowe. And when I say Ultimate Warrior, I mean the Vander Holyfield. So
Okay. All right. I thought you transitioned over to wrestling.
yeah. I had to think about it. Like I said, the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, I mean Evander.
Yeah.
So but just the guys that really gave their all, Tyson. So I look at all those guys. I might look, if you made it to that level, I know the sacrifice that it takes.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan, before anything.
Sure. I'm a big fan of the historical boxers as well. I was watching some stuff today, and from Marciano to
I'm
Liston
telling you, man.
to
Like that kind
Frazier.
of stuff gets, man. I've watched the Liston story, just like, matter of fact, like doing the quarantine inside of the bubble. Like,
Yeah.
I love those old school stories of Rocky Marciano, those guys, Max.
Yeah.
I love all the stories, man. So,
Man, you're going way back. How about my man Jack Dempsey? Back to
Jack was a monster. That was
yeah.
one of Tyson's favorite guys, man.
Yeah.
I love watching those kind of guys, man. Just the grit. So, yeah, I take a little bit from everybody. You can learn from old school, new school. It's always something, because it's all boxing. It's
Yeah.
all in the realm of boxing at the end of the day. So,
Absolutely. Well, I got a recommendation for you, and I don't know what happened Sunday night. I ended up watching the Golden Globes, and they were talking about this movie, and I hadn't heard of it. It's called One Night in Miami, and it's about a
yeah,
fictional.
I have not seen it yet,
Yeah.
but they say that's a crazy movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely, so that was one of the motivations for this fight, like actually wanting to see that movie and stuff. Yeah, the Ali fight was that night. One Night in Miami. Yeah.
One Night in
Haven't
Miami.
seen it yet, but they say it's a great movie.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And if you're a big Ali guy, absolutely check it out.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, Jerry, we really appreciate your time tonight and talking shop, talking about your previous fights, your most recent fight, and your future. I guess the final question I have for you is, you fought 6 times, I think, in 2019. You were able to fight once in 2020 and already once in 2021. What should we expect? How active do you want to be the rest of 2021?
I'm trying to fight 2 to 3 more times this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big number, of course. I mean, not being funny. Granted, I'm not there yet at like elite level, like, where I could just be like, once a year. But I mean, comfortably, but I still want to remain active and I still want to be constant. Whether you're making 100,000 or 5, 10 million, I mean, 50 million, it doesn't matter to me. I'm one of those people, I just want to kind of do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the bank is cool, but I just want to stay active and actually get in there with people. So I'm looking at hopefully one at minimum this year, but hopefully 2 more times.
That'll be great.
Yeah, we'll definitely be turning in for sure. Tuning in, rather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
Now, Jerry, how can
the rematch this year?
Yeah, that's what we would love to see. How can the listeners find you on Instagram, social media?
On Instagram, Jerry.ForrestKO, Twitter, Jerry Forrest KO, and Facebook, Jerry Slugger Forrest.
Awesome. You have anybody you want to shout out or any organizations?
Oh man, just my team. Man, big ups to Ashburn Boxing. Big ups to my promoter Lou. My manager James Hogan. the whole team that helped me, man. You know, the whole entire Ashburn team, you know, Mr. Bruce from Champions Boxing, you know, Mr. Craig, Mr. Pete, you know, just my whole team, you know, my parents, my wife, my kids, man, just everybody that's involved, all my friends, everyone that rally around me and help me on the day-to-day, man, with all this training, you know, coaches, buddies, you know. I mean, it's just, man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I'm thankful for everybody in my circle.
That's great to hear. That's a great message. And again, we really appreciate you taking the time tonight and telling us a little bit more about your life and how you got your nickname and the story, your father showing up to the fight and surprising you. We really appreciate the time tonight, Jerry. So we look forward to seeing you again, and we'd love to have you on the show again and hopefully with a belt over your shoulder.
Yes, sir. Thank you much. Definitely. Will do.
Of course. Well, good luck for the
All
rest of
right.
the year. Thanks, Jerry.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
See you,
Have a
Jerry.
great one.
Pleasure.
Blessings. Blessings to you both.
Thank you.
See you later.